economy of sufficiency can be considered as an ecological lifestyle of wealthy people who say, I can renounce this kind of super rich model of development. But yes, there are also notions that we find in Asia, which are enshrined in Buddhist culture. For example, there is a proverb in Thai language, luchakpo, which means to know when it is enough. So this is actually this notion to keep things in balance. Because if you are too greedy or if you are super rich, you are not necessarily super happy. And of course, in the Buddhist philosophy and religion, you also have the whole notion of karma. You have to have good deeds. And it is a bad deeds if you are too greedy and if you don't know when it's enough. At the same time, if you look at the overall kind of development in particularly East and Southeast Asia, where these notions actually philosophically come from, you see this super or partly even hyper development, where I really doubt whether this tradition of sufficiency or economics of sufficiency is being kind of on a national or policy level ever been considered. But of course, you have people on the ground who feel totally alienated by this kind of super urbanization, super fast connectivity and so on, and who are left behind and who feel they have not been asked, how do we want to live? And for them, this luchakpo or economy of sufficiency or to know when it's enough notion is simply not an option because they have been deprived of even the most necessary. So there is no sufficiency for their livelihoods. So they can only dream of getting a better share of this whole development. So it means there is in all cultures, religions, and civilizations, you find these notions that can actually kind of determine alternatives, but there's definitely no mechanism or automatism that really gets you there because you have this civilizational, let's say, backpack. So it's a matter of proactive policy.
Surviving.
Yeah, exactly.
But we cannot imagine a formal economy based on sufficiency.
Only on a, let's say, only on a very basic level, and that would mean also we are not very much connected. I think what was mentioned earlier with Sylvine Sarr saying decolonization, reimagining development notions with being embedded, recognizing our embeddedness in modernity is key here. So otherwise, this is like misleading and not really very, very, very helpful. But you know that, for example, Bhutan was one of those small countries which actually introduced the idea of measuring the happiness index. Like, how happy are my people? Not as an alternative to just measuring economic growth through the BIP, because it's not really indicating whether this growth leads to happiness of the larger part of the community. And of course, Bhutan is like, it's also very close to the Tibetan culture. It's a high mountain area which comes from a tradition of disconnectivity. They are very, very consciously introducing like tourism, but slow tourism. You have to really pay when you want to have the entry ticket, so to say. They are very aware that what is the sufficient amount of people to visit our country without destroying our livelihoods and also our nature, or leave like an unhealthy ecological footprint behind. So it's it's a management choice to keep that way. But of course, it's a small nation which really comes from a tradition that kind of enables potentially more than in other contexts that development choice.